Okay. So we'll just start in seated, and you're welcome to sit just flat on the ground, or if you have a pillow, a bolster, or a blanket you want to fold up, you can sit on that too, especially if you have any sort of low back discomfort. It can be nice to bring the hips just a little bit above the knees. So coming to that comfortable seat. Yeah, and you might just rock side to side and notice notice yourself coming onto an even point in between both of your sit bones, finding that middle point and starting to just notice the space you're in, orienting yourself to your room, looking around, warming up your neck. And then starting to tune into body. And you might just start to notice your breath and beginning to slow down and deepen your breath if that feels okay. And with your inhales, you might think about lengthening up through your spine, reaching the crown of your head up towards the sky. With your exhales, you might relax your shoulders away from your ears. And also just feeling a heaviness in your pelvis, in your hips, letting your hips feel heavy and connected to the ground or your bolster. So rooting down through low body, lifting up through your torso, through the crown of your head, and coming into that fuller, deeper breath. And just starting to bring a count to your breath. We'll start to match the inhale with the exhale. So you might start with a count of 4 or 5. We're just matching inhale with exhale. And if you lose track of your breath, just gently bringing your attention back. And we'll be here for just one more minute. Matching inhale with exhale. Right. And if your eyes have been closed, you can start to gently open them. And if it feels good to take another look around your room, reorient yourself to your space, you can. And then we're going to warm up, starting with our hands on the tops of our thighs. We're going to come into our cat and cow seated, and then we're going to move on to all fours. So hands on tops of the thighs, inhale, belly and chest come forward, shoulders draw back, maybe lifting the chin if it's comfortable for the neck. And with your exhale, rounding the spine, chin comes to chest. And just making your way in between cat and cow. You don't need to move at my pace, but just moving at the pace of your breath. All right, we're going to add in the arms, inhaling, opening arms out towards the side, broadening across the chest. Big inhale, exhale, round. And depending on your energy today, you might play around with doing this a little bit quicker, or you can keep the slow pace. But again, matching movement with breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Letting hands come back into your lap. We're going to briefly warm up our neck, and then we'll come to all fours. So relaxing shoulders away from your ears and just starting to look side to side as if you're looking over your shoulder, one at a time. And just taking this slow. This might be the first time this morning your neck is moving this way. All right, back to center, bringing chin up and down. And when your chin comes down to your chest, just bringing that side to side, half circles towards the front. When you're ready, maybe half circles towards the back. And then if it feels okay, coming into full circles with the neck. One direction and then the other. And when you feel even in both directions, when you feel complete with your neck circles, we're going to come into hands and knees. And then we're just going to do a couple of rounds of our cat-cow from here. So with the inhale, my belly's dropping, my sit bones are lifting, and I'm looking gently up towards the sky. As I'm exhaling, I'm pressing my hands into the ground and rounding my back. So again, allowing your breath to sort of initiate the movement. Inhaling and exhaling. If it's helpful for you to close your eyes while you do this, you can. And then coming back into a neutral spine. And we're going to come into some hip circles. So I'm bringing my hips back to the side and then to the front. And then towards the other side and back. For a big circle with the hips. And just feeling the different points in the circle. You can take this really slow. You might focus on a certain point where you feel a good stretch. And we'll do a couple in one direction and then go ahead and switch directions if you haven't yet. All right, coming back into that neutral spine. Lifting up your left arm to reach up towards the sky. And then with your exhale, threading it through, dropping your shoulder to the ground and walking this other hand forward. So I'll do it this way so you can see. With one hand overhead, my other arm extended. And just breathing into the place in your shoulder where you feel this stretch. If you want a little bit of added sensation, you can also extend one leg. So if you're turning open towards the right, you would extend your right leg. If you're turning open towards the left, you would extend your left leg. And then we'll come back up. And we'll repeat on the other side with your next inhale, opening up other direction, and exhale, threading it through. And then again, reaching that arm up when you're ready. Yeah, bringing both hands down. And we're going to come into either puppy pose or child's pose. So child's pose, you'll bring the knees out wide, big toes come together to touch. And then we're extending our arms out in front. And child's pose, your knees are going to stay close, or puppy pose, your knees are going to stay closer together. Your sit bones lift up and you're extending. And this is more of a chest opener. So if you want more of a hip opener, you can come to child's pose. If you want more of a chest opener, you can come into puppy pose. And wherever you're at, just taking a couple big breaths here, really feeling breath in your belly. Really feeling breath in your low back. And then walking your hands up towards you when you're ready. And we'll come into some of our hip work, hip stretch. So we're going to start off with bringing knee over knee. Doesn't matter which knee you're starting with. So go ahead and just bring one knee on top. For me, it's my left. Again, we're finding that even weight on both of our sit bones. Inhale, lengthening up. And exhale, folding forward. If you have that pillow or bolster nearby, or even a block, and you're not yet at a point where your belly or your chest reaches your legs, and you want a little bit of support, you can bring bolster there. That might make this a lot more comfortable or restful. Pillows work. Rolled up sweatshirts work. And you can also bring bolster or the block close to the ground to rest your forehead on. You can also stack your fists one on top of the other to rest your forehead down. And you can also keep your head up. We're trying to keep length in our spine. And coming back up when you're ready. And we'll go ahead and repeat on the other side. So just switching the legs, bringing opposite knee on top. Even weight in both of the sit bones. And we'll start to fold forward when you're ready. And again, maybe you grab that block or that bolster to make this feel more supportive. And inhale, coming back up when you're ready. And let's see, we said shoulders today. I'd like to do a little bit of work with the balls if possible. Is it possible to get does everyone have balls? Or just one ball? Everyone just needs one ball. And we're going to be working the shoulders, but really the place in the upper back in between our shoulder blades. So for some of you, this might be new. And I like to do this lying down. If it works, if it feels better for you to stand up against a wall, you can do that too. I find lying down, there's a little bit more pressure, but that can be a lot of sensation. So you can play around on the wall too. We're going to start off, we're working this space in between our shoulder blade and our spine. So we're never putting the ball right on the bone. And we're going to start off up towards this top part. And it's the top part of the back, but not so high that the ball's going to roll away, but just low enough that you can keep it there underneath your back. All right. And I'm starting on my left side, lying down on top of the ball. And you've got options here. You can sort of wiggle yourself on top of the ball and feel how that feels. And you might start to move. We're starting on the left side, so you might start to move your left arm around in little or big circles, but just noticing the different parts of the muscles that you're able to access when you move the arm. And I always like to recommend you move the arm nice and slow through this in big circles. And I have my knees bent with my feet on the ground. You're welcome to have your legs extended as well, that's fine. It tends to be a little bit more sensation if you have your legs extended, so just something to know. And then we're gonna move the ball down just a little bit. So maybe 1.5 or 2 inches towards that middle part of your shoulder blade area. But again, in between shoulder blade and spine. And you might find a point that feels good.
Good. Moving it further down, you said?
Moving it further down, yeah. Down the back. And the further down the back we go, the more sensation, the more weight is on the ball. So you might just lie down on this pressure point, or again, you might move the arm around in these circles. And then one more time on this side, moving the ball down another inch, inch and a half, 2 inches, you'll find a good spot. And same thing, you can just rest back onto this, or you can continue with these circles with the arm. Mm. All right. Taking a couple more moments there. And then just grabbing the ball and setting it aside for a moment when you're ready, when you feel complete on this side. And just noticing how your back comes into contact with the ground. Noticing any differences in between the two sides of your back. And so we roll that one pretty briefly. I'm just noticing if you sense a difference. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. And when you're ready, we're going to repeat on the other side. So I'm going to bring my ball underneath my upper back on my right side this time, in between shoulder blade and spine. Moving on to the right side. And again, you can rest onto the ball. You can sort of wiggle yourself on it, or I like this circle movement with the arms. And then when you're ready, moving the ball down a little bit more down the back. There tend to be places that, pressure points that will feel extra sensational. So you can sort of find spots in your back that feel like an extra good massage. And then one more time, bringing that ball a little bit further down the back. And again, you might just lay on the ball, or you can come into that same circle with your arm. And you can take a couple more moments to do that. When you feel ready, you can set the ball aside. Resting evenly on the back. And again, just noticing any differences in between these two sides. And we'll come into some twists on your back, scooting your hips. One scoot over towards the left, letting your knees come over towards the right. Bringing arms side to side. And maybe looking over towards the right, towards the left. And bringing knees back to center. Taking the hips one big scoot over towards the right, letting the knees rest over towards the left. Maybe looking over towards the right. And back to center. Taking any last movements that feel good. That might be coming into another hip stretch. Bringing your ankle up to the top of your knee and hugging it in. That might be happy baby. Grabbing the outsides of your feet and rocking side to side. Just taking any last movements that feel good. And we'll start to get ready for our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So you can stay right where you are on the ground. And if there's a blanket or a pillow or a sip of water that you feel like you might need before you settle in, feel free to grab any of those things. And as you settle into this resting position, just starting to take a couple bigger breaths together, taking a big breath in, exhale, letting it go, taking another big breath in. Maybe you exhale with a sigh. Taking one more big breath in, holding the breath up at the top. Sipping in a little bit more air. And exhaling, letting it all go. And with every exhale, just allowing yourself to sink deeper into this resting position. Feeling the ground beneath you, behind you. Noticing that sensation of support. Seeing if it feels good to rest down into that, to release any effort. And doing a body scan. Bringing your awareness to your forehead, maybe relaxing forehead. Noticing sensation in eyes and eyelids. Relaxing the eyes and the eyelids. Temples and cheeks. Noticing jaw. Tongue and mouth. Neck and shoulders, resting, relaxing. Arms and hands, fingers. Relaxing chest, upper back, lower back. Seeing if it feels okay to soften the belly. Softening pelvis, pelvic floor, glutes, thighs, your knees, calves and ankles. Tops and bottoms of your feet. All 10 of your toes. And allowing yourself these moments of rest. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. If you'd like to come out of this, you can start to deepen your breath. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes, moving head. If you're on your back, you can make your way onto one side, coming into fetal position, making a pillow with one arm. And just taking your sweet time to come up towards sitting up if you're not already there. And finding a way that feels good for you to close. That might be hands out in front of your heart. That might be nodding towards yourself. And namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.